Welcome to the Cookbook, where we invite guests on to share the ingredients of what has helped make them the successes that they are. All of it, the good, the not so good. You're not going to find anything half-baked here. And our kitchen gets messy sometimes. That's when the fun starts. So come on and join us. Okay, so hey, there are times when we all could use a little extra help and support in our lives. Whether there's something you're struggling with or just seeking connection with other people who understand what it's like to be in your situation, Inovia Behavioral Health can help. Inovia is a subscription-based organization that provides unlimited access to a wide variety of educational, experiential, and therapeutic support groups that are led by live expert facilitators. Now, you can get 20% off your membership with the discount code Cookbook20 when you subscribe. Check it out today at inoviabh.com. Inovia, feel better. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Cookbook. I'm your host, Iris Goldfeder, and I am so freaking excited about my guest today because he is one of my favorite people in the world, Ron Ben Joseph. And by the time we're done, you're going to love him too. I know it because he's just so lovable. You just want to give him a hug. Okay, so, it's true. Ron Ben Joseph, and he's an amazing coach too because he was my coach for a while. But anyway, Ron Ben Joseph is a highly accomplished public speaking, messaging, and performance coach dedicated to helping individuals harness their unique strengths and amplify their presence on the grand stage. With an impressive track record spanning over 20 years, Ron has worked with a diverse range of clients, me included, including professional actors, I'm not that, singers, I am, entrepreneurs, I am, executives, C-suite leaders, real estate professionals, financial advisors, and an array of consultants and strategists. With a keen understanding of the transformative power of effective communication, RBJ, not to be confused with RBG, specializes in guiding individuals who have encountered discouragement, being labeled as too much, that's my favorite topic, or not enough, and helping them embrace their authentic voice. Through tailored coaching methodologies, Ron empowers aspiring speakers, facilitators, and thought leaders to confidently step onto bigger stages, captivating audiences with their compelling narratives and profound insights. I love him so much. Without further ado, let's meet Ron.
Iris, I love you so much. I gotta tell you, I was on the phone with someone today, a friend of mine. She's in the community, and why am I hiding? Becky Claybaugh. I was talking to Becky Claybaugh today, who she's a mindset coach and a money mindset extraordinaire. And so I was like, oh, I'm doing this thing with Iris. She's like, I've heard of Iris. Explain what she does to me. And I was like, oh, it was I couldn't even make sense because it was so much I just love her because she's so phenomenal. She's so brilliant. She's so creative. So I just had this it was a blanket of love today, just so you know.
Well, thank you. And I have this blanket of love for you because you were so integral. You were such an integral part of me figuring out my direction.
Really?
I don't even know if you know that. And I know we didn't complete our coaching, which we'll talk about later because I want to complete those last couple of sessions. But when I came to you in October, November, whenever it was, and I was kind of I don't know, and we were trying to figure out what direction I wanted to go to, what my messaging was, all of that. I was still trying to, I didn't know, and it was right before Hawaii, right?
Right.
And I think we did one after Hawaii. But the thing for me was, and I still look at our sheet every once in a while, you got me thinking on what's my message? Who am I? Who really at the core of me, who am I? And that has immensely transferred over to my business. I can't tell you. So between you and Fabienne,
it's great. Yeah.
I'm a different business person. I'm more me than I've ever been. I'm more in touch with who I am than I've ever been. I am unapologetically myself, more so than I've ever been. I don't give a shit what people think anymore. If they don't want to work with me, oh well, they're lost. And I really mean that, because you helped me really get in touch with my greatness and to be able to embrace it and accept that part of myself that I couldn't accept before. When you like, I don't even know how to explain this, but when you can't embrace all parts of you, including the really good parts, there's a piece missing.
Yeah.
And you really helped me kind of get in touch with, I am amazing at what I do. I'm badass, and I'm freaking great at this, and I'm an awesome human.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So I want to thank you for that, because you do that for a lot of people.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's such an honor to hear that, because you are so uniquely you, right? Like, you are so authentic and so creative and charming and wonderful. So it's like, no one's going to do you better than you. And I think you're the differentiator. So that's really cool.
Well, and you helped me kind of realize that. So, okay, so let's talk about all the fabulousness that's you. Really, I mean, you're so accomplished. You work with amazing people. You do like amazing things. One thing that I will talk about before we do that is, before Ron and I started working together, we met once, and then we met another time, and I said, okay, I want to work with you. And he was like, yeah, I don't know if we're a good fit. And I said, what are you talking about? And then I had this thing called Cara Fun, and it's like a karaoke program. And he made me sing for like 45 minutes. Like, all I did was like sing. He goes, what about this? What about Make You Feel My Love?
Made you sing. Just to be clear, I love your voice so much. So I'm like, wait, can I hear what this sounds like?
Yeah, but you did that because you're a little sneaky shit. But anyway, so and then it was like 45 minutes, and I'm like, I've been singing for 45 minutes. What are we even doing? And then it was like amazing. You were brilliant. But anyway, so talk about who you are, what you do, and all of your awesomeness.
I swear, you're like family to me. You're my mishpucha.
Okay, for those that don't know what that is,
it's family and Jewish.
Yeah, okay, ahead.
Not that Jewish is a language, but it's between Iris and I. It's a language. Like, how many more people can I alienate today? I'm glad we're live.
No, we're not live.
Oh, but it says live though.
No, we're recording. This is not live.
Oh, okay.
Oh, if we were live, we'd be screwed right now, because the whole thing before. But anyway, go ahead.
I know we had a very fun conversation before we started rolling. Yeah. So basically, what was the question?
Who you are, what you do, like your fabulousness.
Thank you so much. So I came to this work. So much of what I do is like we said, is I work with primarily women that have been told they're too much or not enough, who want to get on bigger stages, who want to share their amazing gifts with the world, and want to create a huge impact, either on stage as keynote speakers, signature talks, or webinars, workshops, anything like that, or they want to do more videos, and they just want to be super honest and super real and not campy and over the top in the videos. They want more confidence. So I started very young. As a theater director in Chicago, I was directing musicals, and like I wanted to direct like big musicals, smaller scale, more intimate. And I didn't have a lot of money for that, like, because there's no money coming in. So it was small budget shows. But I found like two things. I found that audiences didn't care if there was no set or lights or, fancy costumes or whatever. All they cared about, if the two people on stage were communicating really organically and conversationally, the audiences would lean in. They didn't care about anything else, because the actors portrayed the scene or the monologue or the song so real and so authentic. And I realized I just figured out how to do that intuitively. I just figured out that was the differentiator. And so this drive to help people speak very conversationally, very real as themselves with their voice. And I was a shitty actor. I was horrible as an actor. And it took me years to figure acting out, and eventually I did. And then I started doing it with myself and started getting work and as an actor, and started and like got into a prestigious school in New York, which I dropped out of after a semester. Like I saw that if I could even do it to myself, that I can make myself a better actor, which was never going to happen. I was like, I want to do this for other people. And I got to a point where I was like working with actors, and it was exhausting, and, you know, the constant struggle, having 17 other jobs just to produce shows and direct. And I was working with big time people. I was working with Broadway people that they themselves the year before were in a big Broadway show. And then in, you know, the following year they were in, you know, a small production with other Broadway people in New York, and you know, in the East Village, and under a library. And I'm like, this, you know, this is heartbreaking. But so
Broadway.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there was that concurrently. Also, when I was starting my theater companies at 19, 20, I learned real quickly that, like, if I just get on the phone with people, I can make anything happen. So I was within a month or two of deciding to cold call, like teaching myself cold calling at 19 years old. I was having meeting with big Broadway directors and producers, and in Chicago, like people that run the big theaters in Chicago, at Steppenwolf, Goodman. And I was like, wow, like, so I was like, like on some level, I started realizing that there's something to this idea of creating my own opportunities, but creating opportunities around helping people speak truthfully. And nobody tells you when you're a young director, no one's like, oh, no, there's a place, it's called, you know, Female Entrepreneur Heaven, or the Dames, which is the organization that we all met from. That, you know, like, there's a female entrepreneur scene out there where they've been mansplained their whole careers, and or taught by other people, like, you know, keep yourself small, don't be too much, don't, you know, like, just stay to your lane, just, you know, kind of be sweet, whatever, right? And so,
sorry, that just,
or smile more, right? Smile. My ex-wife always jokes about that. She's like, we're very close, and she always jokes about, like, she's like, smile more, you're prettier when you smile. And I'm like, oh my God, that sounds, I know, and I know so many people, so many women get that. Smile more, you're prettier when you smile. Like, what? In the workplace, no less, right? So I just felt like, as I started burning out in my late 20s, I'm almost 70 now. So when I started burning out in my late 20s, it was like 20 years ago, and I was like, I can't stand these actors anymore. They're so hard to work with. I was like, what's acting for non-actors? And then I kind of learned about public speaking and got my master's, started teaching college speech, started a video business on the side to kind of supplement the teaching. And then it kind of just coalesced until 2018. I said, I was at a networking, or I was at a sales call with this guy, and he was like totally into it. And I'm like, and I'm so excited about him. I'm like, here's how I can help you. And we create a presentation that does this for your business and that. And he leans in and he's into it. And then he stops and he like, Ron, let me tell you, he starts mansplaining me. He's like, let me tell you something. He's like, I'm different. I swear to God, I remember this. He goes, I'm different than your other clients. And I'm like, yep, because you're a douche, you know? And it was in that moment, I was still married at the time, and I told my wife, I'm like, dude, I can't stand men. I can't stand working with dudes. Like, I just can't do it. And so she was so cool. She's like, you know, you don't have to. And she's the one that opened my eyes to that. She's like, you can just really niche and just work with women. It's totally cool. And then literally 2-3 weeks later, I meet Megan Conter, who owns the Dames. And then she introduces me to the most amazing women on earth. So that's my story of how I became an entrepreneur. I come from an entrepreneurial family. My sister, my brother-in-law, my dad. My dad won the Entrepreneur of the Year award in 2006. Like, so it's a family of people saying, get a fucking job.
Right? Highland Park.
I'm originally from Highland Park. But they, you know, I had all these people who were super successful, and they were like, get a job. You know, like, they were like, stay out of this thing, don't do this thing,
Don't do this.
Get a job, get a fucking job. So that was my introduction to entrepreneurship, and they're all super happy now with, you know, with where I'm at. But
well, yeah. You're amazing. And so you know, the Dames is so it's funny because it's this amazing group of women that help each other. Yeah. I mean, we don't network to each other. We don't, you know, sell to each other. We network, but it's like not icky networking, right? We meet each other and we form power partnerships, and we, you know, refer each other to to people, and but it's this amazing supportive community. And Megan was actually supposed to be on either yesterday or the other day, but something happened. She's going to reschedule. But one of the things that really drew me, like once I joined, I remember I was like, oh my God, do I belong in this room?
I know you're such a dame. Like, it's so you.
It's like intimidating. Well, now, 100% now, right?
Yeah.
But when I first started, I mean, the story was like, I went to the round table and I was like, I'm not six figures. I can't do this. There's like no way. And then like the next morning, I see two deer, and, my friend calls me up and, is like, so-and-so isn't the director of marketing anymore. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I am. You're getting all of our business. I went from here to, there. And it was like, oh, shit. And I remember I messaged Megan and I was like, oh, my God, the universe is like working, because I literally just got this client. And she was like, join. Just join. And I did. And I, went to like a couple of things. And I remember like the first, because I was still kind of like licking my wounds from my prior situation. And I remember like the first month, because that was May. No, it wasn't May. Well, it was like 2021, 2022. And it was like, can I do this? These women, I'm like reading people's biographies and I'm like, oh my God. And then I have to put my bio in and I'm like, oh,
right.
It's kind of like, okay, not too shabby. And then, this year, after the year that I had, because last year business tripled, this year it's not.
Wow.
And it wasn't because of the dames, but it was because of the dames. Yes, I did the work.
Yeah.
But they say if you want to do better, surround yourself with people that are where you want to be. And I did. And I got to the point that I was like, okay, I definitely belong in this room, but now what the fuck am I doing? And that's when I reached out to you.
It's so funny because like the Groucho Marx, like I'd never be part of a membership that would have me, or a group that would have me as a member, right? So I hear this from dames all the time, because it is, you have to qualify and you have to, and it challenges so many of the women that I know and my best friends. These are people that we have some family stuff going on right now, and I have 3 people constantly that I'm voxering and they're checking in with me, and we were talking about this before, but so I'm not technically a member. I work with Megan on her content, and we do videos and presentations together, and then I just like work with everyone, and so I'm constantly like, this is my world. But the support. So we're doing a video we have a funference coming up. It's a fun conference. I'm
running karaoke, just shopping. I know.
I'm so there.
Amazing. I got my ticket. I got my hotel. I got like everything. I'm there. I'm like
right
there.
And it's like, it's such a supportive community. So for the funference, we're doing this really important, fun video. Like, it's going to be silly, but it's at the core teaching people how to collaborate, how to power partner, what that really means. And I don't know any other group. I know a lot of networking groups where, like, totally no disrespect to the owners, but they're marketing themselves, right?
Right.
Megan doesn't have to market herself. Like, she is at such a level. It isn't like there's nothing. She has this entity, this community that has its own. I mean, it's international, and it has its own voice and has its own character. And the Dames, it's like it's its own brand. And so I don't know any other group that is as supportive, and the actual training is mind blowing.
Yeah.
And that's not, but again, because she's not sitting there trying to promote her marketing business or her whatever business. Like, she is just solely focused on this thing that is now this juggernaut. So to your point, like, this idea of belonging, I think is we're actually going to be talking a lot about it at the funference, but like this idea of feeling that you belong amongst the elite. I think that's challenging for everyone, including the ones that I know that are the higher tier, they have a hard time belonging. Like everybody has a hard time belonging. I think
And I
going
think,
back to what you said, yeah.
and I think there's, I don't like, I'm not elitist at all. And I know that, for some people, there's like a certain prestige.
Mm.
And for me, it's not about the prestige. It's about the relation. Everything with me is very relationship based, period.
Yeah.
My business, everything that I do is relationship based. So for me, somebody was like, well, you're a dame now. And I went, okay, I'm in this, excuse me, the company of these amazing women, but it's not about prestige. For me, like Megan making Forbes, that's prestige, right? That's huge. We have Whitney and Erin and like all of these people, and yet they're very prestigious. But for me, it's not about that. It's about meeting these amazing women that have the same struggles that I have, that have the same wins that I have, that have the same, all of it. It's all of these commonalities. And for me, that's what it is for me. And I know for some people it is about the prestige, and that's great because it is a prestigious group, but it's not like, that's not why I do it. And anybody who knows me knows I don't give a shit. Okay, let me back up. I am high maintenance. I like nice things.
You're bougie. You're bougie.
I'm bougie. Yes. My friend Marcy was like, you're bougie. And I went, man, I never thought of that, but I am.
But you know what though? This is what the Dames has taught me, and this is what it's like there's nothing wrong with that. That's like I forget who I was listening to a book, maybe by Neville Goddard. I forget who it was, but it was a mindset book about, oh my God, I can't remember what book it was, but it was like about like we are meant to experience the greatest joys in life. And I think that's why we have businesses, right? Like I was talking to a friend of mine about this the other day, she's in the Dames, and a client, she's a friend, but she's also a client. Like we were working the other day and she flew first class recently. And I was like, you know how many people that we know do not fly first class? And I'm like, you know what? I'd rather not fly than, I'm not flying first class anytime soon. Well, see, that's upper limiting. I'm excited to fly first class.
Do not do that limiting thought. Ron is going to be flying first class.
That's right. So, but it's like, you know what? I have anxiety. I have claustrophobia. It's uncomfortable as hell for me. It's torturous for me sometimes to sit in a plane, like in coach. Like, no offense to coach.
Right.
Like none whatsoever. It's a visual thing for me. It's not bougie, right? Mm-hmm. But it's like, I want to travel. Like, I want to be a little bit more comfortable. I'm paying. So it's like, I just feel like in general, like I feel you on that. And I think that's where we go into this work on some level is like, we want to make the impact. We want to like help others. And in the same token, we want the freedom to live lives we want, to have the opportunities that we want. Right. Like,
right.
So,
yeah, I mean, 100%, but bougie.
I'm just saying.
Right? So,
but you're not bougie. I'm saying, like, I'm kidding about bougie. I think.
No, but there are certain things like I wear Revo sunglasses. They ain't cheap, right? I mean, I have whatever. So I like, I like to look put together. I like nice things. But, besides all that, and, you talk about first class. So right when COVID hit, my best friend, it was in 2020, my best friend was getting married. She was getting married in Phoenix. And I flew out coach. And on the way back, COVID hit. Like literally 2 days before I left, an American calls me up and says, do you want to upgrade to first class? And I was like, does a bear have fur? Because I didn't want to be, and again, no offense to coach.
Right.
I didn't want to be in that cluster of all those people, right?
Right.
So first time in my life, I upgraded and I flew coach.
Yep.
I ended up sitting next to the biggest asshole in the world who drank. So we're at the bulkhead. Which was good because I didn't want anybody. Yeah. Like I didn't want to be sandwiched. I chose that seat on purpose. But this guy, so they're feeding us our food and he's drinking. He's like getting trashed. He's taking his fork and trying to stick it in my meal. And I held the knife up because they give you real knives. I was like, I will cut you. Like, I'm not even kidding. Get your fork away from my food. And he thought I was kidding. So he sticks the fork in my food, and I was like, so I called the stewardess over, and she's like, "What's the matter?" I'm like, "This disgusting pig just stuck his fork in my food."
Oh my God.
And she said, "Oh my God, let me get you another meal." And she looked at him and she's like, we're going to move you if you don't calm down. And he's like, "Oh, I was just kidding." And I was like, "Oh my God." So I take my meal, right? Because now I get a new meal, and I turn sideways because I don't want to even be looking at this guy.
Right.
I eat my meal like really, really fast. And then I pull my computer out and I start working. And it's like 9 o'clock at night at this point. So, because I'm flying from Phoenix to O'Hare, and then O'Hare. Oh no, actually, it was a direct flight. I'm wrong. So anyway, so I'm doing this thing, and I get out of the plane, and I'm like, that was first class.
Huh. I know, that sucks.
The only difference was instead of 3 seats, there were 2 or
Right.
4, whatever. And I could drink whatever I wanted. I got a knife and a fork, which was, nice. I could like eat a meal.
Yeah.
But the guy that I sat next to
It was a pig.
was a pig,
Yeah.
like sitting next to, I don't know, Melissa Benoist, Kyler Lee, it was somebody, not this freaking mook. So anyway,
Is that your goal, to sit next to Melissa Benoist?
I mean, I wouldn't hate it, but that's like,
Supergirl.
yes, she, and I'll just real fast about her. It wasn't her as much as her character, because the character, and I can't even believe I'm saying this on my podcast. Oh my God. The character of Cara Danvers to me was so amazing, and she played her perfectly. I mean, Marley Rose in Glee was like one thing, but the way that she embodied Cara Danvers was mind-blowing, because she had this imperfect, goofy, like, she was supposed to be the female Clark Kent, but she was more, because she was vulnerable.
Yeah.
And she had feelings. And yeah, they should have put her with Lena, but that's another story.
They did that on She-Ra. Did I tell you? Did we talk about this? There was a new She-Ra series, animated She-Ra.
Yeah, and I know they made her gay.
Yeah, which was great. Like, I saw it with my daughter and my wife at the time. We were like, yeah, like we didn't see it coming. Sorry, spoilers.
But all of the subtext between her and Katie McGraw during the show was like, oh my God, but the powers that be, whatever. I'm not going to get into the whole supercore thing, because yes, I am supercore for all of you people listening, 100%.
Yeah.
But her character was just amazing. And I just, it is what it is. But she probably doesn't like me because I had an issue with her sister in real life, and so she was probably like, "Oh, Iris, that bitch." But that's another story.
Wait, oh, you're serious? Like, do you know? Like,
I'm like, really? No, I don't know Melissa, but I did know her sister.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, we'll talk about that off.
Okay, they're from Colorado, aren't they?
They're from Colorado. Yeah, I think where Megan just moved is where they're from.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
So anyway, but yeah. Anyway, so this was a while back, so we'll just leave it. But yeah, I'm sure she'd be like, oh, it's you, which is fine. But anyway, so totally off track here. So you became an entrepreneur, right? How did you decide to just start doing what you're doing? Like
Great question.
Yeah,
I think, my core answer would be that I had to do it. Like, this is what astounds me, because I perform still. I perform comedy. I sing. I direct.
I can't wait to sing with you, by the way. I
know, I'm so excited. I have to practice. But I have a need to entertain. I have a need to make people laugh, for sure. But like, this need to tell stories, far outshone all the other needs. And never wanted to admit it early on, but like, especially in public speaking. So like, I went to see a friend of mine today. She did a presentation on motivation, essentially, like how to find your motivation in your business, things like that. And I was just like wall to wall, like smiling, or ear to ear smiling. I was so happy. I was like, I love this medium. I love entrepreneurs speaking. I just love it, like in trainings and motivational workshops and mindset speeches and money stuff. And I have a lot of financial advisors that I work with. I have realtors that I work with. Like, I just love like how their content impacts people on a day-to-day. And so it was definitely an ugly process. Like I said, it took 23 years ultimately to get to a point, or 20 years, let's say. 2020 is really when the business took off. I was definitely reluctant for a lot of it. I was definitely like, no, like I still think I belong in showbiz. That's where I can tell the stories I want to tell, but it wasn't true. Like, I love what I do now. So it was a long process. It was definitely ugly. I definitely was, I mean, financially not where, like it took years to get to a good financial place. I got a divorce in the process. We have an amazing child she's awesome. She's brilliant. We co-parent really well, but like, there was definitely a lot of struggle to get to the point of where I still can't, I mean, I'm still so grateful, like from the type of, like the type of people I'm connected with. I had a meeting with like someone in LA yesterday, like a Hollywood person yesterday, and I was like, oh my God, like it was a referral. Like, I was like, this is happening, like to work with them, and like it's just unbelievable to me. So the process was long, arduous, but like super effing grateful. I don't know. Does that answer that question? Like, yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, everything's a journey, right? We're all on these journeys. So, and you've worked with so many people. What I find really endearing to me about you is that truthfully, you're very, I knew this was going to be a love fest. But I know it's like our hugs.
I know we all do.
But you really care about the people that you work with, and it shows. And not only that, but you're such a freaking cheerleader. Like, even on a shitty day, you're like, oh my God, you're amazing. And it's like, no, I suck. And you're like, no, you're amazing. And it's like, oh wait, I'm amazing. You just have this way of like bringing this positivity and this love fest, like, to whatever you do. And the people that you touch, you really, you make better, because they feel better about themselves. And I think that's a huge talent, a huge skill.
Thank you. It's so funny. What I always hear is like, oh, you say that to like when people say to me, like when I get excited, they're like, you say that to everyone. And I'm like, hey, you know what I say to everyone also? I say hi.
Right.
So like, cut me some slack. But at this event today, half of the room was clients or people or dames, people that I constantly in contact with, that I laugh with, that we joke with, and these are big time people, and like, and so it was funny, and some of them are clients, and so it was funny to be in this room where it was very interactive. So I couldn't, and my friend is leading this thing, and she's doing so well. And at one point, I'm like, Jamie, you're doing great. And she's like, are you giving me feedback in the middle of my speech? Oh, she called me out, and then I said, I'm like, you're crushing it. I like mouthed it, and then I'm like, you're doing great. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. And then it was like the barn door was wide open. I'm like, yeah. Because she's like, are you calling me out in the middle of my speech? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I'm so happy with you right now. It's so good. And so like, I think people I think my clients are like, hey, you say that to me, but you should see me at an event where I don't like someone. It's very different. Like, I can't lie about it. So like, I'm fortunate to really only work with people I love, and and why not, right? Like, I'll go to town for them, because I think like there's so few people. Like, I take for granted, like when I meet someone outside of the community that I'm in, where it's not, we always joke, it's coaches coaching coaches coaching coaches. It's like a cyclical thing. Strategists strategizing with coaches, and right. So we're in this amazing bubble where everybody's doing great, and when I get outside of that, I'm like, there's so little support. Like we're talking about the dames, right? Like there's people that are not part of it. There's so little support. I'm like, you know what? If I can just, if I see something in you, I'm not going to hide. I'm not going to lie about it. Like I'm going to go all out and tell you every minute how grateful I am. Because I've also been unemployed for many years, you know, like, right. So if someone entrusts in me, they're like, here, I'm going to pay you. I just think I'm going to give them everything. I'm going to give them my heart, my support, my love, like any ounce of ability or skill that I might have, like it's going to them in that moment, you know, because I'm so grateful for every second of their time, you know.
And gratitude is such an amazing, you know, I'm going to call it an emotion. I mean, it used to me, it was like a thing, you know, gratitude is like a thing, but it's really when you really feel it, it's an emotion.
Yeah.
You know, I changed the signature on my email now in gratitude. It used to be, you know, warmest wishes or whatever, but no, it's in gratitude because I am grateful for I'm grateful for all of the business. I'm grateful for all of the connections. I'm grateful for the ability to recognize the opportunity.
Yeah.
So I'm just like this giant ball of walking gratitude, you know, which wasn't me before. So it's
and it's easy to forget when you're an entrepreneur, right? Like it's easy to forget as an entrepreneur how lucky we are, right? Like we don't have to punch in. We don't have to we don't have to deal with, a lot of times we don't have to deal with managers that we don't like, right? Like I mean, I don't know what situation someone would deal with that, but like in entrepreneurial setting, but like, right. Whereas I know some people that have jobs, and it's like, it's heartbreaking how much they have to deal with just to do the work that they were hired to do. Whereas we get to do what we love, right? Like we don't constantly, I'm hearing so many of my clients, their speeches, their presentations are about how to delegate, how to get really clear on your zone of genius and just focus on what you're good at and delegate, right? Well, you don't, if I seen job, when you hit those, where there's a few weeks where you don't make, you don't sell what you want to sell, and the ups and the downs of entrepreneurship, right? In those weeks, I'll always look at jobs, right? And I know some people that do this. They go on Indeed and they're just looking. They're looking, right? But it's like, fuck. Like when I see job postings,
are you really going to do that, right? Because I know I've done it too. Right. It's like, no,
you're not going to do it. But especially when I look at the job description, right? And I'm very grateful for the living that I make and the house that I'm in, and and the clothes that I have, and the fact that my kid eats and can take classes and do all the things that she needs to do. And when I look at how much I bring in versus the job, right? I'm doing this much for a lot of people. With the job, you're doing it for one company, but it's astounding to me how much shit they fill in that you have to do, including all the stuff that I'm not trained in. I won't say other, but it's astounding to me when I see job postings where it's I have to do what? You want me to do video, but you also want me to do graphic design and post on the internet and clean the bathrooms and babysit your kids and make hamburgers and what? Yeah, so it's the gratitude, I think, as an entrepreneur, I always have to remember, yes, I worked my butt off to create this. I don't even have a butt. It's just two legs that go up. It is what it is. But
I'll let you know.
I know you'll see me and you'll be like, yeah, no, really. I have a gut, but I don't have whatever. It's fine. But I work my butt off, but it's so easy to lose sight of that and to not be grateful. And I think what you said reminded me to be grateful of being an entrepreneur every hour, every hour.
Yeah, because it's cool and it's hard. And I remember when my website was done, and Kim was like, it has to be all you, and I did the photo shoot and all that stuff, and
Kim is the worst. Kim Russo.
Kim.
Kim. The worst. I'm just kidding. I love her. She's amazing. Amazing.
Of power partners. I mean, we are, I think, what a power partnership looks like, but that's another story for another day.
No, Kim Russo, web designer, amazing, so talented.
Amazing. She does. She does our web design. She does branding. A lot of different things. She's branding. I mean, she's just amazing. Anyway, So, but, and she doesn't do it through Gasto. She does it through on brand design, her brand. And that's why I work with contractors, because they have their own businesses. They, and they elevate things because it's their business. So they're going to make sure, because it's them. It's essentially, I'm their client. My client is their client. So it's.
Anyway. I mean, that's how we have our thing where I direct all of your clients' online videos. All the TikTok and Instagram videos.
Well, my producer's back there going, I don't fucking think so. But
sorry, just kidding. That's like another. Kofi. Sorry. Sorry, Kofi.
But we do other stuff. But sorry, that's pretty funny. See, he even put your.
I know. He's the best.
That was good timing. He's probably like,
he's like, fuck this guy.
Michelle, go have some wine. Every time I say fuck, my friend Michelle has some wine.
Oh.
Like a glass of wine, or not a glass of wine, a sip of wine. Because if she had a glass of wine, she'd be like trash.
We both said F at the same time.
And we don't. I've been cursing a lot less, but it depends on who's on, and who brings. Like Annie Ruggles and I are next week.
Oh, stop it!
Forget it. We're done.
I can't watch that episode. I'm not old enough.
No, I mean, Michelle, I'm going to be like, you have to have 2 bottles of wine at the ready, because like in the first half hour, you're going to be trashed. I mean, Annie and I already talked about it. I
love her so much too. Yeah.
Oh my God. She's just, so many amazing people in our circle.
Right.
Just really, it's just like one is just, anyway. So what advice would you have for like somebody who's thinking about becoming an entrepreneur?
Great question. I think, like I think if you have to, okay, I'm getting my thoughts in order. First of all, like I have a friend, Rachel Lipchansky. She runs a group as well. She's awesome. She said to me once, and I talk about this all the time. She's like, as an entrepreneur, there's a big gaping hole in the world that is unfilled until you are ready to step into it and fill it in your authentic way. So I'm ad-libbing, but like it was something to this effect. And I think that is so true. Like if there's something that you have to do there's no other way for you to do it. Like where you're like, I need to do this way specifically. This is how I know I can make an impact and really change lives. I think like do it, I just say like, do it. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a struggle. Most of the work is, it's like, just be okay with being a salesman. I think, yes, like you got to do your own books, you got to do all these things. But I think the key to entrepreneurship, I've always felt this, maybe people will disagree with me, is clients. Like go out and find clients and go out and network, go out and meet people, be okay with introducing yourself and asking the right questions and asking where people are at, what they want, what's standing in the way of them getting what they want, and then figure out like how you really help that. And then do it, because like maybe my answer would have been different 20 years ago, but like I hear so many horror stories now where people are just getting fired for no reason and just like, and on one hand we're hearing like there's a shortage, the great resignation, shortage in workforce, and on the other hand, like people at big companies are getting fired left, right, and center with no loyalty, nothing. I'm just like, you know what? Like do your own thing. Like the money's out there, the people are out there that need you. Do your own thing.
Right.
That's my opinion.
And people that need you. And I think that, one of the really interesting things that I find in my business and really any of the entrepreneurs that I know, people need us. I mean, they need us. And if we don't do this, like we're called to do this for a reason.
Yeah.
Right. We're meant to help the people that we help. We're meant to meet the people that we meet and, all the things. And I know, and I always joke about this, but if you ever want to really get to know yourself, become an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because, you get all of it. You get the good, the bad, the ugly, the pretty, the amazing days, the, oh my God, what was I thinking days? But at the end of the day, there's this resilience that we have.
Yeah.
that it keeps us, it propels us forward. It doesn't hinder us. So,
can I add to that?
Mm-hmm.
Can I add to that too? Like with the resilience, something that I wish I had known when I started out is what Megan calls, our friend Megan calls the golden goose. Like finding community is huge. And I didn't know that. Like I thought I could just do everything by myself and you just can't. And so the flip side to resilience is find a community, find a village, find a support system.
It takes a village.
It takes a village. Like it just does. Like I'm in service of so many people, but like I have some people, thankfully, including like my sister who I'm very close with, but like I have so many women in the community that are like I said, they're like texting me, how's this family member? How's this? How's that? How was your show? Can I come to your show? What's, like there's such an outpour of support when you need it. And I think as an entrepreneur, it's so much better to be part of something bigger than just do it on your own in a vacuum. You know?
So Lindsay started this, it's like a Dame's Power Pod, right? And it's where a bunch of us get together and we help each other. We support each other. Mm-hmm. We bring a problem to the table and all of us in the group just kind of mastermind on how we can help the person get through what they're going through.
Wait, Lindsay Hotmeyer?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Audience, if you are curious about starting a business and you're not sure yet, like what's a true path for you, what's really in alignment for you, like you have ideas, but you want to make sure that they really fit in. I don't know if I should be talking about this, but I just took her course. She let me try it. And she's been helping me out a lot with getting in alignment. Mm-hmm. Oh, Lindsay Hotmeyer, you guys, Lindsay Hotmeyer. That like there aren't that many Lindsay Hotmeyers. Like
no, it's Storybook 15. She's amazing. 15. She not only is she amazing at what she does, she is an amazing human.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, right, that's what matters most to me, is that the people that are in my orbit are amazing humans. I'm not going to be around anybody else. I'm not going to be around anybody who doesn't fulfill me. I'm not going to be around anybody who maybe sometimes makes time for me. Right. Not doing it anymore. There are people that I know that, I used to reach out to. I don't anymore.
Yeah.
Because I don't have time. I am so freaking busy. But she is such an
She's there.
She's there.
Yeah.
She knows that she can text me anytime of night, and I'm gonna be there to help her. And I know the same thing for her.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do her 30-day thing. I said, so it's a 30-day thing. Oh shit! I was supposed to look at that today. I have to look at that tonight.
It's intense. It's a lot of work. It's intense.
I know, but I'm like 30 days. She laughed. She goes, it's an hour a week for 30 days. I'm like, I know, but I don't have that right now. But I want to support her, so I'm going to do it. I just have to figure out how to fit everything in. But so we met it a couple of times down in Indy. And the last time we met, and I'll send you the picture. It's so funny. We were laughing so hard when we took the selfie, and it's a live selfie, so you could see us laughing before we actually took the picture. It's awesome. She's just amazing. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't look at that picture. That is like you and her. That's too much pretty. I can only, I have an eye thing and it's like, it's too much. And I mean, there I said too much. It's a lot of pretty. No, I'm not going to say I think you're gorgeous. I think you're so, whatever. This is not the time to talk about this. I hope your wife doesn't hate me. I'm just saying. Oh, she doesn't care.
Okay.
Annie, this is what Annie does. So Heather comes in because I want to introduce her to Annie. And Annie says, I want you to know that I'm in love with your wife in a non-threatening way. And Heather was just because Annie's Annie, right?
Oh, I'm going to throw down right now and tell the audience that I'm in love with Annie in a very threatening way.
Brian, he's kidding, kind of. So I'm just going to say.
I mean, with respect to Ryan, yes, respect. But I mean, he can't blame me. I'm taking no accountability.
Annie is just it's so funny because
all we're doing is gushing on people we know.
Here, I have these stupid things. My uncle calls them the can't see-ems. They're these really teeny little freaking things. And anyway, and people hear us talking and they're like, they don't. So, okay, a lot of people listening do know who we're talking about, but for the ones that are listening that don't, I don't want you to feel left out. These are just amazing people.
Right, right.
Look her up on LinkedIn. Lindsay Hotmeyer, look her up on LinkedIn. Megan Conter, look her up on LinkedIn. They're amazing people.
I'm bringing it up too, though.
Look her up on LinkedIn. Who else did we leave out? I don't want to leave anybody.
Well, I think it's so important to bring up these people when, like, on a podcast or an interview, because, like, again, it's not just me doing this. Like, so I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be here, and I'm so sorry because I do have to get on a call in 3 minutes. But like, no, I don't. Okay, I will cancel the call. But with it's again, it's the to me, there is no artful speaking in my business. There is no artful speaking without all these people that have made it happen. And so I think, like, that's to me what I didn't know about entrepreneurship, and that's the truth of entrepreneurship, is that it takes a village. It's a community. Find your community, find your people, do it together, help them. When the pandemic first started, I was like trying to put out fires, with people. I was like, I don't worry about paying me right now. We'll figure it out. But like, let's work on this. Let's create that. Let's get revenue going. Let's create content that gets you out there. Let's get you seen, and it's like, and then people were very fortunate or very kind and helped me out later, or were able to pay me later or whatever, like, I just think like we're bringing all this up to kind of unveil the truth.
Right. Right. Because there's a lot. Okay. So what is an obstacle that you have come through that somebody might be going through, or you may still be going through, that, somebody out there is going through?
So a big obstacle that a lot of my clients go through, which I'm going to be honest, like I'm going through it too right now, is like imposter syndrome, or who am I? I'm not an expert. I'm not right. No one cares what I think. Like all these doubts that come in when it comes to standing up and speaking, whether it be on a large stage, whether it be on video, on podcasts. Like, so I think like something that we talk a lot about is like, we get them, and myself, a reminder of like, how are you impacting others? Like it's so easy to get in your head and trapped about how you sound, how you look, what, am I an expert enough? Am I not? And I don't think any of that matters. The truth is, are you helping people? Do you have a track record of helping people? Mm-hmm. If you do, then don't stop. Like, get out there and share as much as you can. Like, put the goodness, put the love out there, put the talent out there as much as you can. So that's the obstacles are like a lot of limiting beliefs and not seeing themselves as experts or as worthy of getting on a stage. And I'm like, that couldn't be further for the truth. If you are helping people, then focus on what it is that you're doing in the helping, and then adapt that, and just focus, like remind yourself, write Post-it notes, or just, play, like record on your phone and play it in your ear. You are worthwhile. You are important. Like, Get out there and help someone. Because if you just help, it's like the superhero thing. If you just help one person, that makes all the difference. Strong, confident. What is that? I'm that bitch.
100% that bitch.
100% that bitch.
Like all the stuff going on with Lizzo, I don't know if I believe it, but I'm having a hard time with that, because she helped me get through 2021. Like, I can't even tell you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just pretend that none of that is real. So what is, I mean, I know how amazing you are, but what do you think your differentiator is? Like, what, makes you different from anybody else out there?
Like, so I love my, sorry, getting a phone call. I love my, they're not competitors. Like, again, I'm in a very civilized community. So I always say I love, I know so many companies that do the public speaking coaching and that stuff, and I love them. Where I think we're all different is that we all come at it from a different angle, but we all, kind of do it for the same reason. But for me, what I think differentiates me is, the system that I have is much more focused on the individual. I don't come in and say, this is the right way, again, I'm not saying my competitors do that, but I'm saying, like, I've seen other companies that do this, that it's like, this is the right way to do it. Don't say like an when you're speaking, set it up this way, do it this way, and you have to have a this. And you're dropping at the end of a sentence, you can't do this, you can't do. It drives people crazy. It's like with anxiety, just breathe. Like, or just, just forget about it. Oh, okay, my bad, I forgot to forget about it. Don't think of the color red, 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 red. So I don't do any of that shit. Like for me, it's all about listening to the person, really getting to know them. Like you said, who you are. Like, what is it that you're passionate about? What is it that you're really good at? What is it that you love? What is it that you're willing to fight for, right? And we come up, and the more I hear their tone, and I hear their inflection, and I hear their cadence and their rhythm and their flow, and what just like emanates out of them, I am looking for what blocks them. Like I am definitely looking for what's standing in the way of their flow and their freedom, but I don't call it out in a negative way. I'm just like, oh, who, like we'll get to the root of it. Like we go deep. We're like, well, who told you couldn't do that? Who at one point told you you're not good enough? Who at one point tried to turn off your light?
Right.
And then that brings up more and again, we just create this like super authentic space and safe space where they can be like, you know what? Now I think about it, that's not me. I'm not shy. I'm not this. I'm not that. Like I'm not afraid to speak. It was my mom. It was my dad. It was my uncle. It was my cousin. It was the teacher. And then great. We work through that, and then we create content from that space. And it's, I've had a lot of clients that have worked with other companies, and they felt stifled. They felt very stiff. And then they come to me, and it's like, oh. And the results are the results. I mean, they sell more. They connect with more people. More people, a big indicator for me is like how many people are lining up afterwards to talk to you after a presentation. My clients, there's rows and lines of people that are like, I want more, because they've tapped into, because the speaker has tapped into what is it that the audience wants, and they made it all about them. Whereas a lot of, I find companies that are like, you gotta like set it up this way and that way. It's robotic, it's mechanical. It doesn't speak to the heart.
Right.
My clients speak to the heart of their audience member and how they solve problems for them. And then people are just like, I want more. I need more.
Cool.
I think that's how,
Well, I want more of you because you are amazing. Hug.
Always. Iris, always. Come on.
How do people find you?
Ask Iris. I'm so see. I love people. I get so excited. But like I get like, but if I don't love you, like it's like it has. You have to, like this is what's hard. I don't do a big I have amazing clients, high end clients. It's great. I don't market. I don't do social media, because you gotta know. Like we have to have a connection. We have to have a bond. And so if you want, really the best way to find me is not to put more work on your shoulder. But like
sure, I just put me. If you want to get hold of Ron, get hold of me. I'll put you in.
Or you can go on my website, artfulspeaking.com. LinkedIn is the best.
And you have been on LinkedIn, I've noticed.
Yeah. I have actually been posting more like videos and stuff, like helpful hints and stuff. But no, LinkedIn I would say is really the best way. Like LinkedIn, look me up, Ron Ben Joseph. And if there's something where you're like, if you're called to speak, if you're called to create more content on video or on stage, let's meet. I'd love to talk to you. Like you deserve it. So
yeah.
If you're cool, if you're a jerk, I don't want to talk to you.
No douches.
No douches. No. Anti-douche.
Right. And there are female douches too. So
Right.
So
I'm not into it.
Okay. The last question that I ask everybody, and I hate that I wanted to talk to you longer, but I know you have to go. So the last question I ask everybody is, what lights your fire?
Oh, I'll tell you what lights my fire. My Jim Morrison impression. I sing Light My Fire.
Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, I mean,
I do a whole thing. Yeah, I'm like I do a bit too. Where I don't want to do a bit right now, but I do a whole I do an act where I do. Anyway, what lights my fire outside of the time to hesitate is through. I can't. I'm not warmed up yet. But what lights my fire, I think, is that aha moment, that transformation where a client starts to, when they come to me and they're blocked and they're disconnected from their instrument, right? Like they're disconnected from how they speak and how they create and how they are in touch with what they want to say. And then they will just have a release and start crying, and they'll be like, that's it. That's what I wanted to say. I wanted to say this thesis, I wanted to say it this way. This is what it is. This is how I can help people, or in a speech, they're like, it's this, and these are the 3 ways you can solve this problem. That to me, when I see that, and when they speak it, like as if and there's no difference between if they're talking to me or talking to the audience, I freak out. Like a part of what I do is a lot of like coaching to work through hurdles and blocks, and I love that. I'm so fulfilled by that, but I still am a showman. I still, like, going back to the theater stuff, like I still love shows. I love authentic, real performances. It just drives me nuts. I can't handle it. Like I took my daughter and my niece to see Barbie recently, and phenomenal, right? Like, phenomenal movie. I don't care who hates me for saying that. I have a buddy who hates me for liking it. Douche. I'll say his name too. And he's one of my best friends. It's douche stuff. Margaret Robbie is a great example. She's playing a character who's a toy, but there's moments in that movie where I was swelling up. Like, she's so real and so conversational, and it feels like it's not a character. It feels like she's Margaret Robbie in a set of circumstances that are Barbie. But like, to me, that's the authentic stuff. That's the stuff that moves people. And I think a lot of times we think like of like these great orators, you know, like, but at the core, someone like Martin Luther King is being authentic. Martin Luther King just has a big voice and was so gregarious and could just fill an auditorium or fill a whole city. But a lot of us don't have to have that. We just have to be super truthful, super vulnerable, transparent, like your girl Melissa, you know. So there are ways to do that. There are ways to connect with that and open up. So
nothing. Thank you so much. Hang out for 2 seconds. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody, and then I'm going to come right back to you.
Okay. I love you.
I love you too. Everybody, I hope you love Ron as much as he's my heart. It's my heart piece. Thank you so much for listening. Again, appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate all the comments. Keep downloading, download, subscribe. When you subscribe, you get a notification of a new episode. And who doesn't want a new episode of the Cookbook? I mean, come on. Again, thank you all. I appreciate you all so much. And until next time, go out and find what lights your fire. See ya.